My aunt announced at Thanksgiving she was selling Grandma's recipe book to pay for her Aruba trip. The one Grandma handwrote for 40 years with notes in the margins and ingredient substitutions she figured out through trial and error. I said nothing and passed the turkey, my hand steadier than I expected. She kept going, her wine glass sloshing slightly as she gestured. It's just an old book collecting dust in my closet. Some collector offered me $8 grand, cash. Grandma would want me to enjoy life, not hoard her scribbles. My mom shifted in her seat, looking uncomfortable, but staying quiet. My uncle nodded along like it made perfect sense, already reaching for more stuffing. Around the table, everyone just kept eating. I asked quietly if anyone else wanted it first. She laughed, that sharp sound that made my jaw tighten. You barely cook, sweetie. What would you do with ancient recipes for pot roast and apple butter? You live on takeout and energy drinks. Fair point. I work 80 hours a week at a tech startup, leading a development team that never sleeps. My kitchen has 3 coffee makers and a drawer full of delivery menus, but I grew up in Grandma's kitchen every Sunday, watching her test those recipes. Her blueberry pie had 17 attempts before she got it right. I was there for attempt number 9 when she added lemon zest and everything changed. Every page had stories written in her shaky handwriting. Notes like, add more butter, Harold loves butter, and made this for Sarah's graduation, she cried. My aunt took another sip of wine. Besides, $8,000 buys a lot of memories in Aruba. Real memories, not dusty paper. I asked when the sale was happening. She smiled, proud of herself. Meeting him Tuesday. Already have my flights booked for next month. All-inclusive resort, ocean view, the works. 2 days later, my aunt posted photos on Facebook with a man in a suit, both of them holding the recipe book between them. Sold! Hello, Caribbean sunshine! The post had 43 likes. I commented congrats with a palm tree emoji and nothing else. What she didn't know was I'd been tracking the book for months. My cousin mentioned at a barbecue back in July that her mom was getting it appraised, thinking about selling it. I couldn't sleep that night. By morning, I had a plan. I created Heritage Recipe Acquisitions, a completely fake antique business, built a professional website, registered a business number, even rented a P.O. box 2 towns over, found stock photos of old cookbooks, and created a portfolio. My startup skills finally useful for something that mattered. I reached out through an antique dealer forum, posing as a collector specializing in handwritten recipe documentation from the Midwest. Made sure my aunt saw the post through a mutual connection. She reached out within a week. The negotiation took 6 weeks. I played it perfectly, acting hesitant, asking for photos of every page, bringing up condition concerns to justify the price point. Not too eager, not too cheap. $8,000 felt right, enough to seem legitimate, but not enough to make her suspicious. I drove 4 hours to meet her, wearing reading glasses I didn't need, and a blazer I bought specifically for this. Used my middle name, changed my voice slightly, more formal, older. She had no idea. Just handed over the book, took the cashier's check, and talked about her resort swim-up bar the entire time. That night, I sat in my apartment reading every page. Grandma's notes about making her wedding cake, the cookie recipe she invented when she couldn't afford chocolate chips during the Depression, her comment about my first birthday cake, little bird loved the frosting more than the cake. I started cooking on weekends, taught myself her techniques from the notes, failed miserably at first, but kept trying, just like she did. Last week, I hosted Thanksgiving at my place for the first time, spent 3 days preparing everything from the book. Turkey with her herb mixture, green bean casserole with the crispy onions she made from scratch, rolls that required her specific kneading method. When my aunt walked in, there it was on the kitchen counter, open to Grandma's apple crisp recipe, the page stained with cinnamon and butter marks from decades of use. Her face went completely white. She grabbed the counter like her legs might give out. Where did you? I grabbed the wooden spoon Grandma used for 40 years, the handle worn smooth from her grip, and smiled at my aunt's frozen expression. Turns out, the collector was me. The recipe book stays right where it belongs.